Hello, welcome to this week's edition of Geek Pod, but it's not going to be a normal Geek Pod. I'm your host, Paul.
I'm Hugh.
I'm Kev.
What's not normal? I'm Jack.
That's not normal, Jack.
There
no,
is no normal Jack. Come on.
right. We just wanted to drop in this week and give you a little introduction. We're gonna give you a little bonus episode, technically, and that's it's gonna be the live show filmed right at Sci-Fi Horror Fest 2023 this year, expertly filmed by Bryce Corbett, Corbs Jr. Corbs had told me that if we didn't give Bryce credit, he was probably gonna crumble and cry or something. Actually, I think his words were he'd be pissed. So I am going to forewarn you guys. I did everything I could with the audio to pull it up to at least listenable levels. It's not great, but you can hear all the stuff. Our pre-recorded segments that did not come across on there, I dropped them into the show, so they're all there for your listening enjoyment the way they were intended to be, instead of
Did they come across at the show?
the video came across.
I mean, for the live people. No, really?
No, they just weren't good.
It wasn't good.
Their system they
the
had there wasn't
facility
great.
wasn't helpful at all.
No.
When we tested it earlier in the day, it worked great. Sounded awesome, looked awesome. Then when it came showtime, not awesome.
Oh, man. So I wasted my most personal and best little antidote for the end of my news segment ever, and nobody heard it.
No.
Well-
everybody that subscribes to our podcast will hear it.
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
I mean, I just meant at the show.
Right.
Well, actually, it did freeze on you, Hugh, so you looked like you were looking down on us.
I look like Mitch McConnell, huh?
That's great.
Were you having a stroke?
Well,
So
the night
does,
is still young.
anyone have thoughts other than Hugh, since he wasn't there, about the show? What you guys thought before we let the fine folks watching this take it away?
Go ahead, Kev.
Yeah, I thought it was a good show. I thought the people that were there, the vendors, the celebrities, I thought everybody was, they were interesting. They were having a good time. I was surprised to hear the number of people that came through the gate. That was very surprising to me. And it wasn't a hard number that they gave us, but the gentleman we were talking to, was it Rich?
Yes.
He made it sound like they were doing really, really well. And I thought that was fantastic.
Yes. It was well attended again. Much better than many of the shows that has been in our areas in the last few years. They will tell us attendance was a little bit down from last year, but it was still a very, very successful show. To the tune of already announcing the dates of next year's, which is going to be a week earlier. That's going to be August 16th and 17th, 2024. Still at Vernon Downs. They've got big things in the work. A lot of wish listing going on right now. They have plans. They're going to keep what works and get rid of what isn't working. I can't say any more than that, but it should be an exciting time. Yours truly, all of us, will be back for the third year in a row for it. I'm sure Jack will weasel his way into moderating another panel. And
texting while you're doing it, apparently.
No, I was not texting. I was looking up my questions because, well, like what Paul said, like what did we find interesting? It was like fun. Like it was kind of cool. Like they said, "Oh, welcome back, Geek Pod," and all that. So it was kind of nice to see some familiar faces. The reality one was pretty cool. The Beyond Reality, but Josh and his team at a skateboard was really cool. Oh my God, that was just a good experience all around. But like literally, I was just walking with my dad, showing him the stuff again, and those girls my dad recognized again, and they kept following us.
Yeah.
They kept following us the whole time. They literally got ahead of us. They're like going like this, going messing with us. But you're absolutely right. I will weasel my way into another panel for sure. It was just so much fun, and I liked how the stage was elevated this year. It was kind of cool. So it kind of felt like you were an actual panel. But
did you get in a fight with Jack's interviewee this year, Paul?
No, I did not. No, but Jack and I did make friends with RA, I'm Mielhofer. Leatherface
Wow,
from
can't
Texas
be too good of
Chainsaw.
friends.
I couldn't pronounce his name before, but he's a blast. We hung out with him for most of the VIP party, and he is just he's something else. He's a big foodie. You would love him. He is a huge foodie. He told all sorts of stories that I can't tell here. That would definitely be a breaking some trust there. My favorite part of it may have been when I got up to go grab a beer from the bar, and he barks at me, "Where you going, motherfucker?"
Yeah, that was good.
So yeah, a lot of fun. I wish we would have had more time to hang out with him, but we were pretty busy at our table Saturday. We kept demoing the new game all day long, so it was fantastic.
But it's kind of cool doing this the second year in a row too, because like you even looked at me at once, Paul. You're like, Jason Brooks says to go back to his table. I'm like, again. So I kept talking to Jason Brooks all weekend. So it was kind of cool. Like even Ken 4A. Now I'm saying the name right because I thought it was 4E, but it's 4A. So it was kind of a good experience because like you learn more about these actors, like why they got into acting or were they supposed to be an actor. So kind of cool.
Yes, very much so. But if we don't have anything else to hit beforehand, we're gonna let you take it away into the episode. And at some point in there, we're gonna also drop in our what you watching midstream report because Kevin is dying to discuss a show we've been watching. So enjoy, and we'll see you in a little bit.
Warning. What you are about to hear contains explicit language, adult themes, and potentially disturbing content. The views and opinions expressed are those of the hosts and do not reflect the opinions of anyone else, anywhere, ever, in the history of the world. This podcast is intended for an immature audience and should not be listened to by anyone, anywhere, ever, in the history of the world. You know, fuck it. You've been warned.
You're too sci-fi horror. I want to get plugged of late and beyond reality. I got to test drive that. That was pretty fun. So if you have time this week, check out Beyond Reality. They will hook you up. Will he hook you up or do you? You do have to pay. Nobody's coming? You can't do that. It's just as what prices are, but it's a pretty cool life. Recommend it. Blake, I got you. He's trying to get your shit away. I'm not. Hey, the man. We got you. What do you got? I don't know. It's my first time here. I'm pretty happy about what I've seen so far. I'm awful excited. We've had a great turnout. We've had a phenomenal experience at our booth. And I want you guys over. We're playing at that in-house game at our booth. Stop over, talk to us, see what we're all about. This is what got me engaged. So many of you are doing the system you're doing, and I think it's great. So, I got my first of all, I can't do this sitting here. This is chair's gonna go. What's got me about Sci-Fi Horror Fest is all of this. This is amazing. There's a ton of great vendors here. Sponsors are phenomenal, but the best thing is the Sci-Fi Horror Fest merch, which I accidentally left over there. If you guys haven't seen it yet, the cover hats and everything are phenomenal. There, Jack's wearing one. Look at that. Look at that. Fantastic. shirts are amazing, done by Thursday Tees. Phenomenal. Sorry, I keep watching my shirt. I'll go back. But yeah, too much beer. There's that too.
My name is Paul Shulman. I'm running for president 2024.
I couldn't do worse than the guys that are in now. All right, let's keep it moving right along. I believe next up is tabletop review.
We are going to do a very quick review of Splendor Duel. If you've played Splendor before, you know how much fun that game is. And this brings that fun to a different level for just 2 players. The board is completely laid out, and I want to explain to you what it is you're looking at. Your board of gems is here, and they are laid out in random order by picking the gems from the bag, and you follow a path around the board, so that there is no chance of having any kind of gem layout that is a preference. And if you ever replenish the board, because you're going to go through the gems, you replenish the board, you replenish it in that same order. You'll see that as we take gems off the board. The card on the far right is how you win the game. Either 20 privilege is collected, 10 royalty is collected, or 10 of these gray cards. And these gray special cards have these gray banners on them. There's only one card out at this time that has the gray banner on it. So the way the game is played is provided by a player aid right here. And you have optional moves. Then you have your moves that you, or your plays that you take, one of these each time you play. And if you pick a card that has a special purple symbol on it, there's only 3 out at this time, you have to play those immediately. And they could be take another turn, take a token, what is the next one? Copy the color, take 1 privilege, take 1 non-gold token. And that reminds me, let me tell you about the gold tokens. Each one of these colors represents what it costs to buy a card. So here we see 2 pearl, 3, I think the blue is sapphire. Here is, let me move this down a little bit, 3 pearl, 1 sapphire, 1 emerald, and 1 ruby. So these are the costs to buy the cards. So the way you get the gems is each time you play, and I'm going to play through one of these. I can't do the optional because we haven't even started to play yet. So I'm going to go ahead and take up to 3 adjacent non-gold tokens, okay? So what that means is I could take these 3 tokens, I can take these 3 tokens, but I can't take these 3 tokens. I can take 2 tokens, or I can take 1 token, and you'll see why that's important to know. But for right now, I'm going to take these 3, and these will be my gems that I'll have for the next time that I play. Now, I can't buy a card with these, I can't do anything else, so the play continues. Notice the path on the board. As we replenish later on, we have to follow this path whenever we're putting gems back on the board. The next person may decide to take 3 gems, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to try to assure that I get whatever gems I need for each of these cards. Now, the privilege, in order to get privilege, it is this number in the upper left-hand corner of the card. As I collect the cards, I accumulate privilege, and if I get 20 before the next player does, I win. The other way is, as I pointed out here, the royalty. As you collect the cards with royalty on them, you can collect your royals, and then if you get 10 royalty points in your hands, then you can win that way. So I'm trying to buy cards. I'm trying to build my engine so I can continue to buy things. Because the other thing these cards have on them are gems. Once I have the card in my hand, I always have those gems. I have to return these gems when I buy a card. That's why this is very important. Okay, so our next turn, let's see, what do we have? 5 and 4 and 3. You have to be a little strategic when you're picking your gems. But let's just say that person is going to try to go for that card there. So they're going to take these 3 gems. Now that gets them the 2 rubies they're going to need, and one of the pearls. Okay, so what is my next play? So my play now is I can now do the optional. I can spend a privilege to take a non-gold token, right? These are privileges, okay? If I replenish the board, right? If I replenish the board, so I opt to do that, then I have to give a privilege to the other player. And the other player then has the privilege, and then they can use that as they wish. So game proceeds like this until we get to a point where we've taken all the gems off the board, and all the gems have been spent, and then they have to be replenished, so that some player has to replenish that board. Having played Splendor in the past, I can tell you that if you are very strategic about how you pick your gems and how you collect your cards for your engine, you can be very successful. And if you don't pay attention to the other player, you can lose. The gold tokens. One of the options I have when I play is to take a gold token and reserve a card. So if I use that as my option, I have this gold token, and they can be used as a pearl, I believe, later on. And I'm going to put this card sideways, meaning that I can purchase this card. I'm the only one that can purchase this card. And if I do, that is my only play when I do that. So that was my turn. I reserved this card so that the other player couldn't have it. Once the card has been taken out of play, you have to replenish the board. Okay. Wild gems are used when you're making your stacks. In other words, if I have all of my blue, my sapphire cards here, I can attach a wild to that, and that gives me another sapphire. So I have done my gold here. This player is going to continue on, and they're going to try to get this card here. So they need a blue. Let's see, they need a sapphire, and they need an emerald. Is there any way to get a sapphire and an emerald at the same time? There is, and they can take these 2. Okay, so they're trying to get that next card. Are there any cards that I can purchase yet? No, I cannot purchase any cards yet. I'm not going to replenish, so I'm going to go ahead and try to take some more tokens so that I might be able to purchase a card at some point. And I can see the future here. So if I take these 3, and then I have some rubies, and I have a is it an onyx? I forget what the black one is. We're going to call it an onyx for now. Okay, so that was my turn. The next player, they want to take 3 tokens. They can't yet purchase anything. Let's see. That's not a pearl. That's a pearl there. I forget there's a pearl, and then the white one is a diamond. Okay, so the white is diamond, the pink is pearl. So let's see. They're going to take their 3. And I'm at a point where I could purchase a card, and I'm going to go ahead and do that. So if we take a look here, this is the card that I'm going to purchase, and it's going to give me an onyx that I can use later on. So I'm going to move this out of the way. I'm going to purchase this card. It's going to cost me a diamond, sapphire, an emerald, and a ruby. So there, I'm starting to build. Now I have 2 onyx in my hand that I can use to purchase something later on. And these cards will stay in my hand. Because remember, purchasing the cards is what's building my engine, right? So a combination of the tokens, the gems, and the cards are what builds your engine. So you can buy more cards, more expensive cards, really more expensive cards. and eventually get those points later on. The next player has decided that they can, let's see, they can make a purchase. They can purchase this card here. So they're going to go ahead and do that. That's a diamond, a sapphire, a ruby, and an onyx. Okay, so they have now 3 gems, or 3, what are those? Emeralds in their hand. Okay. So play continues like this until, as I say, the players have the cards in their hands required to satisfy the privilege, the royal, or the gray. Again, the gray is this here. It's an addition. There's 2 additions to Splendor Duel that is different from Splendor. The one addition is the instant activity. So if you get a card with a purple circle on it, you have to do that instantaneously. The other addition is this gray option for winning. But I would encourage you, when you get the chance, to go on BoardGameGeek.com and take a look at the reviews that they have on that site, because that is where I go to find my new games. And what I want to do for you right now is I want to read to you a little bit of the description from BoardGameGeek for this game. So, confront your rival guild in a race for victory. Take gem and pearl tokens from the common board, then purchase cards, gather bonuses, royal favors, and prestige. Discover new twists and strategic opportunities derived from Splendor, the original best-selling game. Acquire cards with impressive powers. Take advantage of special privileges and fight over scarce access to pearls. This game is rated very well on BoardGameGeek. It's got an 8.0 out of 10. It is for 2 players. Best is 2 players. 30-minute playtime, approximately. Ages 10 and up, and a weight of 1.98 out of 5. Now, those of you that have watched GeekPod before know that I like to concentrate on games that are very easy to learn, very easy to pick up, and this may be at the higher end of that. I really like that, 1.5, 1.75, because it's quick to learn, quick to play, easy to get back into and play at a later time if you don't play it very often. So this is on a little bit higher end of that, but it's completely worth it. The rules aren't that deep, and you get a player aid, which is fantastic. You just use that every time every player makes their play, and you won't have any issues at all. I guarantee you're going to like this game. Oh, and on Amazon, you're going to find this game for about $30. I found it at a local game shop for $35. Totally worth it. Between myself and other GeekPod members, we have the other 2 Splendor releases, regular Splendor and Splendor Marvel, which was the Avengers version, and now we have Splendor Duel. We like this game that much. Thanks for watching.
Okay, so the video, we recorded this earlier and trying to record a playthrough of the game. It's Splendor Duel. It's a 2-player version of Splendor. If you've ever played Splendor before, this is a little bit different of a twist on Splendor. It's a phenomenal 2-player game. Sorry about the audio, and it really didn't sound that well, but we have it set up at our table. If you're interested, please stop by. We're more than happy to show you how the game is played. It's a lot of fun. It's fantastic. Okay. No. It's just, if you get a chance to stop by, we'll just let it go with that. So we're going to keep it moving along. Many of our fans know that one of our members is missing. Well, he's back at the home studio, so we're going to throw it back to you for the news.
Now, before you finish the dregs of that Keystone Ice and ask your sister if your baby's kicking, here's the news. First up, X gonna take it from you. Last week, real-life homunculus and owner of the platform formerly known as Twitter, Elon Musk, announced that the block feature was going to be removed from the service. This expectedly began an uproar on social media as users feared it would lead to an increase in bullying and hate speech. High-profile users, including one Monica Lewinsky, requested this change be rethought. As you would expect, the block feature is likely one she's had to use often. Now, to be fair to Musk, he did state that they would offer an alternative with a sort of super mute feature, which basically means the person you would have blocked can still see your tweet or X's, whatever, but would not be able to interact with you. This serves the bottom line because if they can see those posts, they can still be advertised to. This led to actor and David Duke cosplayer James Woods entering the fray, criticizing Musk for making this change only to increase advertising and treating customers like pawns. In reply, Musk blocked him, then asked him how he liked that medicine. What? I mean, what are the optics he was expecting here? I'm not even sure what the point he was trying to make. I mean, it's not on par with selling off your fingers to save up to buy a piano, but it makes about as much sense. For a guy all about free speech, I think muting is a far worse phrase than blocking. But what do I know? I'm just a rational, logical human being who thinks before he acts and never thought dating Amber Heard was a good idea. How could I possibly relate? Next up, if it bleeds, we can kill it. You know what's more fun than camping? Well, there's a ton of things more fun than camping. Recording this podcast is more fun than camping, which is just below getting my teeth cleaned on my list. But the other thing that's more fun than camping is going camping and getting so messed up on drugs and booze that you think you're in a sci-fi action flick from the 80s. On August 21st, the Forest Rangers in Ulster County, New York, received a call from an injured man on Mount Trempar. The man claimed he'd been in an altercation with his hiking companion. He also claimed he was being hunted, like in the movie Predator, as in the 1987 movie starring Arnold Schwarzenegger, where an alien warrior hunts a military special ops team on an island. That Predator. He stated he had twisted his ankle while trying to escape from the terrifying extraterrestrial figment of his imagination, and when the Forest Rangers finally found him, he was sleeping it off. I can only hope that when they woke him up, one of them said, "He didn't kill you because you weren't armed. No sport." And finally, now we can blame this on Hillary too. Warner Brothers has come out and made a statement about Blue Beetle's low opening weekend numbers. Only grabbing $25.4 million, it is near the bottom of DC movie opening weekends. It was expected to perform exceptionally well in the Los Angeles area. Bastions of truth that they always are, Warner Brothers said that the tropical storm Hillary was responsible for the low turnout this past weekend. Now, I don't want to minimize the impact that this storm had on California residents. It's been a tough week, and that's a very real problem. But if your movie will be a failure if one city in one state has to put off going to see it, the issue may not be the storm. It likely isn't the movie itself either, as by all accounts, it's a good one. It could, however, have something to do with the colossal mess you have made of the DC film universe. From reboots, bad or no marketing, canceling projects, and overall ineptitude when it comes to handling the world's most recognizable comic book characters, Warner Brothers has set the bar so low you could trip over it and still make more money. When the general public thinks you don't care about the movies you're making, then they might not care about seeing them either. This isn't superhero fatigue. It's Warner Brothers fatigue. And that's the news, kids. Now, I want to leave you with some perspective on age. As I'm getting older, I had no idea that so much of my energy would end up being focused on pooping regularly. Seriously, who knew this was a daily challenge? Especially when medications come into the mix. This one might cause constipation or diarrhea, so make sure you have meds for both scenarios on hand at all times. Be careful when balancing those meds, because if you tip the scales too far in either direction, then you may or may not be up crap creek without a roll of TP. And traveling, that'll throw everything off. You know why old people like to eat the same things on the same day? It's because they crack the code to making sure things flow. Taco Tuesday speeds things up while Spaghetti Wednesday pulls them back under control. If anything, I have found that there is no such thing as a guaranteed turd. Except for the show you are watching right now. You can always count on that. Paul?
In other news, a group of rats called an army. Or I answer it every week, and I gotta know. No, ancient Chinese. All right, so I guess we're gonna go into the sports court. I know it's not a topic around Africa, but nobody. It is. So normally we talk a little wrestling, but because we're gonna try to keep things short, we're only gonna cover a couple of things. It's with heavy heart that we, as a group, The Rotunda family, very last passed away last night, 36 unexpectedly, and then the godfather of hardcore wrestling, Terry Funk, wrestled 50 plus years, so that's a big deal if Terry passed away. He was 79, so again, and still active a couple years ago. Exactly, still, yeah. So for the sports sport, lately I've been covering a lot of golf. This week is big in golf, it's the Tour Championship. Yeah, I love you, buddy. The Tour Championship is this weekend, like I said, it's probably at East Lake Golf Club in Atlanta, Georgia. The tournament. Did you say Kermit the Frog? Right. That was not news. I'm not thinking too much. Yeah, right. This championship is basically for the players. So it's only 30 guys. You got to make the top 30 on the money list to make this tournament. So it's a big deal for these guys. What? I'd like them to be able to hear you. Okay. He was. We're going on stage. All right. So the way this tournament is you start with a standard scoring system. So the top money guy starts out at -10, and it progresses down from there. So the number 2 guy starts at -8. That's how you start out the round. And every shot that you make after that, or every score you get after that, the score adjusts from that going forward. So anybody can win the tournament. They've had guys from start back to 25th, and then come up and win it. What? We're watching over us. He doesn't have talking sports anyways. No, you're just on the 47. So in the past 4 years, there's only been 2 number 1 moneyless winners who win it. Like I said, the guys coming far back in 11. They had a guy who was 25th in moneyless that won it a couple years ago. That's basically all I got for sports is, that's it. So, you would be proud. No, you wouldn't. You would. This is true. Yeah. You didn't finish that. All right. Well, let's keep moving on. This is where we need your guys' help. It's time for Jack's Trivia of the Week.
What's going on, everybody? I can't hear you. Let's go. What's going on? A little louder. I can't hear you. I'm at the sports report.
Trivia. We'll get the next one.
There we go. I've never seen this before, so we're watching it together. What the? Okay.
We never watched the show.
Alright. First off, are we having fun at Sci-Fi Horror Fest? Awesome. Alright. So I have party packs down here for everybody that gets the question correct. So I have 4 points.
You want audience? We need 4 volunteers. We only have 3 people in the audience. Someone goes twice. No. Alright, come on up. Can we give a round of applause? Anyone? I'm sorry, I told him not to do that.
Right up.
Ryan, stay on my chair.
I'm not reading Stilton now.
Now take it away, Jack.
Okay. So do me a favor. Sure, watch the stage. You're fine. Alright, tell us who you are and where you're coming from.
I'm Ryan. I'm from Genesee, New York.
Alright, Ryan. Pick a number between 1 and 4. Okay. When Carrie, so movie Carrie, in 1976, takes the stage after her election as prom queen, what do the bullies douse her in what animal's blood? That's right, give me another blood!
I'll be here just a minute.
And he won the party pack. Look who is he?
Thank you. Yeah? Give him a round of applause. Nice to see you. Where are you from? Ryan. Wait, Ryan? Wait, Ryan or Brian? Buffalo. He's from Buffalo. All right. Do me a favor. Pick a number between 1, 2, and 4. Oh, pick a number. Ryan's picked 4. 1, 2, and 3. All right. 2. So, what actor appears in all 3 horror movies? The Purge, Sinister, and The Black Phone. You got it right. Congratulations, Brian. Next time, maybe look at the microphone so you can answer. All right. All right, everybody. Another person who wants to come. All right, we have one. There we go. Give him a round of applause if he does not want to be here. Come on. Hey, this time I'm going to give him my mic. Dave, I'm standing for. Hi, Dave. Round of applause. I'll let your head, Dave. All right, Dave. 1 or 3? 3. Well, this is my personal favorite. What profession was Mel Gibson's character in Sign before he resigned his position? No? So think of somebody that is spiritual. Yeah. Great job. Give a round of applause. Okay, I want to be my second word. And John, you bring a present tonight. Not the pie. One more. Anybody over here? Wrong show, sorry. Paul, a.k.a. Rod Rodney. You give more prizes, we get more audience. Doesn't work that much. Please sit. Oh, they don't like the I'm sorry, you lost some of your prize. Okay. 1. In which state was the Blair Witch Project? Wait, what state was it from? No. So, I don't even know. Nation's capital is the state. That's your hint. No. The nation's capital is the state. No. Maryland! Great job. What's your name? Where are you from? I'm from. Jackson Dick, I'm sorry, guys. Yeah, I'm sorry, too. Thank you very much. Thank you to all our participants, and thank you to all of you. Round of applause. We're really sorry for Jack. He's very, very sorry for Jack. I'm sorry, I showed up late. She's ignoring me. Thank you for showing up. Give her a round of applause. All right, we know. You just wanted a place to sit down. Yeah, we did that. So now, I think it's time to give them our weekly topic.
All right. So, guys, what you watching?
Go ahead, Kevin.
Come on. Right now, there's only one new thing that just came out, and everybody's probably watching it. At least 14 million people did in the very first week, which was last Tuesday at 9 p.m. And that would be Disney Plus's Ahsoka. And I got to tell you, Kathy and I, my wife and I, both watched the first 2 episodes twice. We watched them last Wednesday, and then we watched them again just a couple days ago. And then we watched, I forget the gentleman's name. I'm gonna look him up, but I'll have it for you in a minute. The guy that does he talks real fast, and he does the Easter eggs. So he did Easter eggs for the two episodes, filled in a lot of stuff, and Kathy, having just finished Rebels, was able to pick up on a lot of that stuff. So she's like, oh yeah, so that was there and this was that. So one of the things that he picked up on, I thought this was really cool, was when Ryder Azadi announced Sabine Wren for the to talk about her plaque that, or the wall that she had the mural that she had painted. She wasn't there. In the background, as he turns, you look down past him and you can see the roads that head out of La Fall, and there goes a single speeder bike. Really cool. The Easter eggs are really, really cool. But we also just watched episode 3 for the second time. So I'm pumped. I think I have good and bad to say, but overall good. I really like what I saw in the first episode. By the time we got what was it? I know I'm going to mix them up, but was it the second episode where Ahsoka and Sabine left together? It was at the end of the second episode, right?
Yes.
So there were people saying that they basically retconned the end of Rebels, where Ahsoka shows back up as Ahsoka the White, and now she's Ahsoka the Gray again. And I guess what the way Filoni describes that is she's still finding her way. So she's not, because he's a big Tolkien fan, and he's forever talking about the parallels between the two Star Wars and Lord of the Rings. But he sees Ahsoka on this path where she hasn't truly, found her way. So she hasn't really made it to this white persona yet. So that's why he brought her back in the gray robes. And again, I hadn't really picked up on this until I saw some people talking about it, and I saw the Easter eggs. But it's there, and what I first felt was that, wow, this is great. They just reproduced the very ending of Rebels, and I thought that was wonderful. Sabine leaving with Ahsoka to go off and find Ezra, or in this case, really to figure out what happened with Thrawn. But as this is unfolding, I find it incredibly interesting. We finally found out why, or what the whole deal is with the Purgles, why they're there, what purpose they have. And I'm gonna find this guy. Let me just go figure out who this guy is. I want to tell you guys who this guy is, because he makes some connections you're going to want to see. But I'll let you guys talk for a few minutes, and I'll come back.
All right.
Just adding to what Kev was saying. What's cool about this show is because if it's actually, you watch a cartoon and then it leaves into a live action. So animation's come so far that now we're relying on our animation to the live action. So my brother was like, I'm looking for a good show to watch with my kids. I'm like, watch Star Wars Rebels. He's like, oh, that cartoon on Disney. I was like, just watch it. And he's like, oh my God, now I'm ready for Ahsoka a couple months ago. But I thought it was really cool. Kev and I were talking about it. They had Clancy Brown. He was back in it. He was the governor.
Awesome. So awesome.
How awesome was that? That was really cool. He was Savage, or am I saying the name right? Savage, I forget, like Darth Maul's apprentice, but that was really cool.
Savage Opress, he did that voice too?
Yeah. Look that up. That was really cool.
I didn't know that.
Mm-hmm. So that was really cool. It was really cool seeing like the little things, like you're like, oh my God, there's Hera, there's Chopper, there's the ghost ship. I was really hoping though in episode 3 that literally, like when they were in that battle and they were like literally couldn't do anything, Ahsoka did all her, like, I call it the Matrix stuff, like she did the Force and all that. But I was really hoping that Hera showed up in the ghost ship with Zeb, and Chopper was like, you know what, fuck the Senate, I'm here to help you, this is our job. Like starting to get the ghost ship crew back together, and that could have introduced Zeb, which would have been really cool.
In episode 3, you're talking?
Yeah.
Towards the end of episode 3.
Yeah, because like,
well, they're still there. They're still there. So.
Oh, they're very much still there. But like when Luke was having trouble, like Han Solo came to bail him out. I thought they would have done something similar to that. Like Hera's like, you know what? Fuck them. I don't want to do that.
Well, we may still see that.
Oh yeah. But like going back to episode 3 as well, we see Hera's son, which is really cool, Jason. So that was really cool. Just like overall very cool. And I'll save room for you guys, but I'm just very interested so far to see where it's gonna go. But every episode, yes, it was probably like you saw Ray Stevenson at the very end of episode 3. It's like, okay, like I want to see more, but I'm just very afraid with the writer's strike. If there is a season 2, it won't be probably till 2025. So,
Right.
But overall, very good. And the actress that plays Hera, we said on the podcast before, is Ewan McGregor's wife. So really, really cool. One thing though, last thing, Emily thought when Sabine was going on her speeder, and I think I told this to Paul and Kev, but Hugh, you didn't hear. Since I was like, she was like, why didn't she just flip him off or something like that? And I'm like, it's a Disney show. They won't do something like that. She's like, I want Sabine to have a little bit more punch when we first saw her. I'm like, it'll take time, but it's just very beginning. So just very good show. But like, yeah, Emily Perks, I was like, I wanted her to flip him off. I'm like, we all did too, but that's not probably going to happen. But go ahead, Paul, you or Hugh, tell us your thoughts.
Go to it, Hugh.
The fuck is Ashoka? I was trying to figure out why the hell we were getting together to talk about the wrestler Asuka.
No, it's not Ashoka.
No,
it's
I'm kidding.
Ahsoka.
All right. As somebody who didn't watch Rebels and all that stuff, I went into this and I thought they did a good job of explaining what is clearly a very complicated backstory and giving you a new viewer just enough information to not feel like they were getting left behind. I thoroughly enjoyed the first 2 episodes so much that I went back and I found the official Disney viewing order and I started watching Clone Wars, knowing and then I realized that there's a lot of shit here I don't care about, and I'm not going to finish this and be caught up until 9 months after Ahsoka is over. I don't know if I'm going to continue. Clone Wars is good, but that voice at the beginning of the episode, everybody is attacking the galactic bounty. I'm like, shut the fuck up. I cannot stand that. It's awful. It completely takes me out of it. But I don't know. I don't know if I'm going to get through all of that, but I liked it enough to go back and try to get the backstory. That being said, episode 3 was just as great. I certainly don't know the history like you guys do, but I want to see where this goes. I've also seen a lot of online chatter that Ahsoka may be the future of the Star Wars franchise, that maybe they're going to end up scrapping a lot of the plans they had because, the last trilogy didn't work so well, and they may be going in a different direction with her carrying the franchise. And I mean, I'm all for Rosario Dawson getting all the accolades she can, so I'm there for it.
Nice. I hadn't heard that yet. I wouldn't hate that.
I wouldn't hate that either.
Yeah. I'm really enjoying it. I was a little distracted with episode 3, so I may have missed pieces. I'm gonna have to go back and rewatch it. But we're still babysitting the puppy here, and she's just a fucking tornado. So I was happy to see the star whales. We were all calling them space whales before. Star whales officially, yes. Show back up. To which Kristen was like, "Are those fucking like space whales?" And I'm like, "You should have watched Rebels." You should. But so far so good. It was kind of cool to see Ahsoka in her spacesuit that we'd seen.
That was cool.
Clone Wars.
The sequence was cool.
Yes, that was awesome.
That's been out before. I don't remember that.
I remember there were episodes of Clone Wars, had to be early because I've seen them. And when she was doing like deep space stuff, or maybe it was just an action figure at one point that I remember seeing, but they had it before with her in the whole blue spacesuit with the helmet.
Okay. I was thinking that must be a bitch of a spacesuit to make to like fully form fit to her, whatever those things are in her head.
Like who? Are they considered like who?
I forget what they're called.
I mean, is she from the same race as the dancing lady in Jabba's palace?
No.
Oh, so there's other races that have fucking tendril hair in Star Wars.
Yeah.
Nice.
I thought the same thing when you said that, Hugh. When I first started, I'm like, is this the same species? But no, it wasn't.
No, she's Togruta, and the Hera is a Twi'lek or Twi'lek. So the dancing girl in Jabba's hut was a Twi'lek. Twi'leks are commonly conscripted for sex toys, basically. That's what they're known for.
But it's like what you guys are saying though. Like Mandalorian, very good. Boba Fett, okay, I can get behind it, but it's a little slow. But the one thing also that grabbed me to the show was the crawl in the beginning. It was a red crawl, which was really cool. I was like, I feel like I'm watching one of the original Star Wars movies. And it was red. It was coming down. I'm like, oh my God, like I'm geeking out. And Emily's like, are you okay? I'm like, it's the crew. So I was so excited for that too.
It's the little things for him.
So I gotta blow back into this, what I was telling you before.
Blow it, Kev.
The guy on YouTube, it's called New Rock Stars. Okay. And this guy ties some shit together that is going to blow your friggin' mind. The original species, the original race that basically traveled across all the galaxies and took over all these different races and worlds and galaxies was called the Rakatans. Now, this is many eons ago. We've already heard about them. We've already seen them talked about throughout Star Wars. It was mentioned in Andor. They were mentioned before that. But basically, and if you watch this guy's breakdown, he'll walk you through it. The Rakatans basically learned hyperspace travel from the Purrgil, from watching them, from studying them, from understanding them. And we still don't understand, they still don't understand completely how the Purrgil do it, because they have, and this is revealed in episode 1 and 2, they have an hyperspace lane that actually travels between galaxies. Something that we haven't seen in Star Wars yet. They have not yet gone from one galaxy to another. That's a significant difference, or distance. Then they just haven't been able to do that, or they haven't done it yet. We've only been in this one galaxy, so they say. The Purrgil have figured this out, and this planet that we're on now, where the hyperspace ring is in episode 3, this planet is in that hyperspace lane. It is the beginning point or end point, whatever it is, that the Purrgil use to travel from one galaxy to another. And that's what we're going to see with this hyperspace ring. Biggest freaking hyperspace ring we've seen yet in Star Wars. What the hell ship they're going to dock in that thing, unless it's just going to be the ring by itself, and they're going to go there and hopefully bring
the Star Destroyer back.
Thrawn's Star Destroyer back. Maybe that's exactly what they're planning. This guy, he really connects the dots in a lot of different things in both legends, book canon, Thrawn canon. He connects a lot of this stuff together, and he makes the point that one of the things that Morgan Elsbeth says is that Thrawn, we're going to go find Thrawn, or something about how they travel, and it's through time and space, not space and time and space. So what we may find out is that he's not actually currently in this timeline. He's gone back, and I know, we all know my problem with the time travel thing, but they've already approached it in Rebels when Ezra found the space between time, or whatever they called it.
World between worlds.
World between worlds, whatever it was. So there is a potential here that they're going to go back to when Thrawn was taken from Lothal and find him and bring him back. I got a feeling what we're going to find out is that Thrawn and Ezra are dead and have been dead since that time, because they were destroyed or whatever. But they're going to go back there, and there's going to be this moral conundrum. Do we bring Ezra back if we're not going to bring Thrawn back? That's my guess. That wasn't from this guy. That's my guess based on what I'm picking up from everything that he's put together.
Doesn't that depend on whether Thrawn is better than Ezra?
Sure. I don't
know. I got you.
No.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, there you go. You got it now.
How many episodes do we have here? Like
3?
for the series.
Oh, I don't know.
Oh, eight.
6 or
Eight.
is
There's
it
It's
eight?
8. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So we have a little bit more wiggle room because otherwise
Yeah.
we're like halfway through the season already. So
Yeah.
I guess they
Cool.
said, I'm not reading into it, but episode 4, watch out for. So that's all I'm hearing right now. But I'm like, don't spoil it.
Yeah.
we can't spoil it. It's not out yet.
We're going to lose somebody really important. They've already prepped us for it. You know, they could have very easily killed off Sabine after the episode 1. We already know that they're hunting Ahsoka. We know Ray Stevenson ain't going to make it to season 2.
Right.
So what
That's
are they
why
going to do?
I don't know. Maybe his Padawan will kill him. I'm still going with that theory. I don't know. I could be wrong. She's quiet. Like, she's very mysterious. So I think she can unseat him.
This fellow from New Rockstars makes a connection between Ahsoka. What's her name? The girl, the Padawan, and Ahsoka, this woman, and Sabine, or maybe it's Sabine and this woman, and no, it is those 3. It makes them out to be a triad somehow, some way. One or all of them having some sort of a witch ancestry, or if not all of them.
Gotcha. Okay.
So, I mean, I thought it. So anyway, the Rakatan. So when they get to the planet they're on now, and I'm sorry, I forget the name of it. When they get to the planet they're on now, there's this map that they figure out, and Elspeth says it was built by an ancient species a long, long time ago. So the belief is that, his belief, again, this YouTube guy, is that this is one of those things that was built by the Rakatans to help them in their travel. So the fact that this globe exists, it was never meant to exist specifically to find Thrawn. It was meant to show the way to get from one galaxy to another, thinking that this is where Thrawn has gone, because the understanding was the Purgles took him, and this is one of the known, or they thought maybe it was one of the known places that the Purgle travel between galaxies. It's one point. So it's just a lot of conjecture. It's a lot of thought and conjecture. It's Elspeth's hearing things. So we'll see. We'll see if she's nuts or if she really is a witch.
No, she's at least we're told that she's a Night Sister, right? Like that. Okay.
Descendant from the Night Sisters.
Yes. Yeah. Very, very cool.
I thought that was awesome. What a great twist.
Mm-hmm.
What a great twist.
All right.
Anyway,
do we have anything else we want to touch upon, or we want to throw it back to the live show?
Yeah.
Well, I'll tell you, I watched The Voyage of Demeter tonight, actually, or The Last Voyage of the Demeter. Good movie, really good horror flick. Different take on a vampire movie. But what the movie I watched this week that really got me going, and I would suggest you guys check it out. Maybe you'll understand me a little more. I watched a movie called Pinball, The Man Who Saved the Game. And basically, it's about a guy named Roger Sharp. And it's interesting because there's dramatized in the past. You know, they have actors playing the real people, but then Roger Sharp is actually in the movie. It's almost as if they're doing a documentary on him, but then when he starts remembering what happened, it's the actors playing him and all the people back in the 70s and 80s. And every once in a while he has to stop. He's like, no, that's not how it happened. I know you're trying to make a movie, but you know, that's not what happened. It's kind of funny, the banter there, you know, between the real life person, Roger Sharp, and the film crew. But here's the main thing on this. Did you know that in 1976, pinball was illegal in New York City?
No.
In Chicago and Los Angeles and New Orleans. Turns out the mayor of New York, who they named the LaGuardia Airport after, I don't know his first name, something LaGuardia. He had made a campaign promise that he was going to get the mob for gambling. He was going to take him down, and he wasn't able to do anything. So just like, you know, the government trying to come after vapes when they really want to, you know, crack down on marijuana and cigarettes, he came up with a patsy as well. And he basically outlawed pinball, saying that it was gambling, and did a big press conference like he did some big thing. He said, they were stealing, the mob was stealing kids' lunch money. Well, so it was illegal for years and years. And the police, if they found a pinball machine in your establishment, they'd fine you, they'd pull it out and destroy it. So enter Roger Sharp, recently divorced, things aren't really going his way, discovers pinball in a bar, and it gives him a feeling of control because he learns it's a game of skill, and he gets really good. And when he's playing pinball, it's the one thing in his life he feels like he actually has control over. Now, he moves to New York. He's trying to be a writer and all this stuff. And I won't get into the rest of it, but this is really what happened. So in 1976, the Gaming Commission is trying, definitely worth the wait.
That's all I know about that song.
How long is this show for? I don't know, but I can talk over it. So, you guys have 3 items. Guys, take 3 items to buy that will make the cashier uncomfortable. Can I go first? Do it. All right. So, I would walk into Wegmans and I would buy the largest cucumber I could find, some KY jelly, and some condoms.
I worked at Wegmans, and 2 of those 3 things aren't there right now.
Want to make a bet?
Sure.
He did it this morning.
Does that make you feel
I have them in my bag.
Yeah, you probably would. That makes me feel uncomfortable. I guess I'll go next.
I guess so.
I worked at Wegmans, and I encountered this one time. There was an older gentleman. It had to be 11 o'clock at night. There was this old actor named George Burns. He was nibbling on a cigar, and he bought tonic water, peppermint gum, and 3 XL frozen condoms. He's like, you know where I'm going tonight? I'm like, have a good night. There's one.
George, what do you got? I don't got much, but I guess I'm gonna go hockey mask, a machete, and a shovel. Wow.
I thought you were gonna wax him with a hot wheel one.
So I'm not far off from yours. I was thinking a large kitchen knife, plastic sheeting, and a bottle of bleach. And I also thought, we talked about that earlier, and I think we need to go a little farther than that. I guess we got. I know, but you gotta go with a bag of lies and a shovel also. Bag of lies. And then do not break it. Right.
These are also consistent though. I would have on you bleach, the machete, and then something like that, a sandwich. A peanut butter sandwich.
A sandwich. Work makes you hungry.
That's what Huey Lewis is.
This is what it's like when we actually do the podcast. We don't ever stay on top. Except we're never together. This is different.
I don't believe that you 2 are over there.
No, once COVID happened, the podcast was going to be around my kitchen table, to being on Zoom. We all show up. It's definitely like podcast. We're about to show up Wednesday night around 8:30 usually. Yeah, 8:30, a little after. And then we all get together. Usually have a good time.
It was kind of funny though.
Looking at you.
It was kind of funny a couple of weeks ago. His camera froze, so he's like this for 20 minutes.
All right, where are we at on time? 5:38. So we're almost done. So let's wrap this thing up. So is that you gonna drop your nugget on people? Then it's time to drop your nugget. It is. All right. That means it's time to end the show. I just want to start. Let's put the nuggets on you guys. I do it one time Good night, everybody, and Megabyte. Thank you.
This has been a GeekPod Network production.